Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Graykowski, creator of the Better Brain Blueprint. This week we're talking about a big word called neuroplasticity. Now, that term was actually coined right around the late 90s, early 2000. And what that means is in prior years, when I used to work in physical therapy back in the 70s in head trauma and spinal cord trauma, they felt that if there was a trauma to the nervous system, that the nerves were permanently injured, that they could not rewire. Well, what they found in recent years, especially with technology and neuroscience, is that the nervous system can constantly be rewiring, reconnecting. So it's important to make sure that you understand that so that you can use your brain to see how can I rewire my brain and nervous system. If a person has a brain trauma to an area that has to do with motor function, you can actually start to stimulate the opposite side of the body to actually allow the nervous system to have the spillover effect. But neuroplasticity is very important in looking at how we constantly are thinking and stimulating our brain. Certain foods can help in the process, bringing more energy and information. Certain action steps, we're doing certain things that are different, it can make a difference in the rewiring process. What I want you to realize is that with neuroplasticity, if we're constantly under stress from the outside world, and because that kicks into a back part of our brain called our instinctive brain, our reactive brain, our fight or flight, it can actually take vital information from the forebrain and puts it back here. And that's why we have an epidemic problem right now where people are having memory loss. Now there's nutritional factors, there's other things, but it's important to reduce stresses, physical, mental, chemical, emotional stresses on your body. And it kicks you off of bringing all the circulation to the back part of the brain and bringing it back to our higher executive level, the front part of the brain. They did a study on test animals, and what they did was they put them in an environment during development. So they put the mother in this developmental stress. So they were constantly being stressed. When the babies were born, they had this big knob on the back of their head showing that the part of their brain that dealt with fight or flight had grown, and it was a larger part of the brain, and the part that had to do with reducing stress with their higher executive function was much smaller. Those that were not stressed had a higher executive function, higher parts of the brain that were more about function and living as opposed to just being in that defense or that reactive. Now, why is that important? Because you can personally take and reduce the stresses and start to look at what are you thinking about on a regular basis and start to make some changes so that you are not reducing your memory, you're actually increasing your memory just by reducing stress. It takes the energy away from an important part of our nervous system, and it kicks us into a reactive state that can lead to things like cancer, high blood pressure, because if we are always under stress, our immune system is suppressed. So we have to make these changes. These are intellectual changes and intuitive changes that you have to tap into to make sure that your health and healing is much better in the future. It takes a community. Our community brings about more life, and so if you feel isolated, it is important that you start to connect with other like-minded people and get a sense of community, because that also stimulates out of the fight or flight, and it kicks you more into that higher level so you can rewire your brain. So this neuroplasticity is causing a healthier, better brain as opposed to an unhealthier and brain that is not functioning the way it was designed. This is another Better Brain tip of the week. Start to make some changes to reduce your stress and realize that you can rewire your body. If you keep doing the same thing over again, you're going to hardwire it. Start to make some simple steps. It doesn't always start to be really easy from the beginning, so make sure that just baby steps, little steps, so you can create more wins, and you can start to see how your memory gets better, you have less stress, you feel better, and you have a better brain, you're smarter, you're happier, and you're healthier. Until next week, have a great week. It's Dr. Bob. Enjoy your day.